including two Senate hardliners on immigration, Tom Cotton and David Perdue. Cotton and Perdue issued a statement today saying they don't recall the president using a vulgar slur about African countries. They agreed with Trump that the current immigration system doesn't do enough to protect American workers or the national interest. Their position and the president's illustrates the challenge of striking a bipartisan deal on immigration, but Durbin believes a majority of lawmakers and the public are on his side.
Last night, several Republican senators said that they were embarrassed by what the president said, and they wanted to be more visible in their support of our bipartisan effort.
GOP House Speaker Paul Ryan noted today anti-immigrant sentiment has a long, unfortunate history in this country. His own Irish ancestors faced similar opposition when they first arrived. Ryan says his family stayed and ultimately thrived, though, just like other waves of newcomers before and since.
That is what makes this country so exceptional and unique in the first place. So I see this as a thing to celebrate. And I think it's a big part of our strength.
Like the president, Ryan wants to adjust the legal immigration system to show less favor to family members and more to newcomers with in-demand skills. In that politically charged effort, though, Ryan calls the president's vulgar comments both unfortunate and unhelpful. Scott Horsley, NPR News, the White House.
With me now to talk about all this are columnists E.J. Dionne of The Washington Post and the Brookings Institution. Hey, E.J.
Great to be with you.
And John Phillips of the Orange County Register, CNN, and KABC. Welcome.
Good afternoon.
I think we have to start with what we just heard in Scott Horsley's piece, this word used by President Trump. And E.J., I'll start with you. What does this comment by the president, a comment we should say he has denied saying, what does it tell us about him?
Well, first of all, we've reached a dreadful point in our politics when a president uses a racist phrase so crude that many are reluctant to use it on the air or in print. The denial lacks pretty much all credibility. He waited 15 hours after the original report before he denied it. There were reports out there that he checked around yesterday to see how it was playing in the base. There are other reports saying he's happy about the controversy. And even the Republicans who were there did not deny it. They said they don't recall his saying it. Right. So I think we've reached the point where there can simply be no denying that our president is a racist. And what underscores that is he wanted immigrants from Norway, but he didn't want immigrants from Salvador or Haiti or Africa. Mm-hmm. Now, what is the difference between Norway and those other places? I think we know what the difference is.
John, what do you think? What does this tell us about President Trump?
Well, I haven't heard this word used so many times since my friend quit his job to strike it rich flipping homes. And then suddenly we start hearing the word all over the place. Look, I don't think anyone's all that surprised, frankly, because President Andrew Dice Trump has been known to pepper his language with vulgarities on occasion. It happened when he was a real estate developer and in the tabloids. It happened when he was a television host. It happened during the primary campaign. So I don't think anyone is truly surprised. Now, the overall policy point that he was reinforcing was something that's very consistent with what Donald Trump said as a candidate. He was highly critical of the lottery program. He was highly critical about giving preferential treatment to the hard luck cases. He has long thought that people with marketable skills, people with the ability to assimilate, should be given preferential treatment. And frankly, I think there's a lot of truth to that. We live in a screwed up world where doctors from India or IT people from Britain are treated worse than the Tsarnaev family.
I got to jump in on that. If this were simply a matter of the president using a vulgarity, we wouldn't be talking about it. Other politicians have used vulgarities. This was a racist vulgarity. This was directed at people who have immigrated here. And by the way, it was an ignorant vulgarity because so many of the immigrants from Haiti and from Africa and from Salvador have been very successful, are very hardworking. And lastly, the president sabotaged a deal that Lindsey Graham and Jeff Flake, both Republicans, negotiated with the Democrats to give the president a lot of what they wanted. They had very clear indications that the president felt that the concessions in the deal were enough for him, and then they were sandbagged. And there's a lot of speculation that somebody in the White House decided to sabotage the deal before the president agreed to it.
Well, let's talk about these negotiations on immigration policy, right? At the beginning of the week, we had the president saying he would sign any deal that legislators put on his desk. Let's listen to that.
I'm signing it. I will be signing it. I'm not going to say, oh, gee, I want this or I want that. I'll be signing it because I have a lot of confidence in the people in this room that you're going to come out with something really good.
And yet the president then insisted that the border wall was non-negotiable.
Would you be willing to sign an immigration deal that ultimately does not include funding for the border wall, or would that be a red line for you?
No. It's got to include the wall. We need the wall for security. We need the wall for safety. We need the wall for stopping the drugs from pouring in.
And so, John, let me just put this to you. Does the president undermine his own prospects for a deal by seeming to waver on his position, by saying one thing in one meeting and another thing on another day?
I don't think so. I hope that Alan Simpson gave him a good long talking to, because what Democrats are proposing now is what failed with the 1980 Simpson-Mazzoli Immigration Act, which is where President Reagan gave amnesty to a lot of illegal immigrants who were here, and in return, border security was supposed to come afterwards. Well, as we know, the immigrants were given their amnesty, border security never came, and if Donald Trump is going to cut a deal with the Democrats and cut a deal with congressional Republicans this time around, border security needs to come first, and that includes the wall.
But that's not what this negotiation was about. This negotiation was about a bill to protect dreamers, people brought here as children by their parents, who are as American as any of us involved in this conversation. And the concessions that were made were very much about border security. In this package that Lindsey Graham brought to the White House with Senator Durbin were new protections on the border, new fencing, an end, a real reform to what's called chain immigration that the president wanted, and a reform of the lottery that President Trump has been critical of. So this was a very balanced package that he chose to reject and then blew up, made things much more difficult with the way he rejected it.
Yeah, right. I mean, EJ, I'm wondering if you think, do the Democrats have a stronger hand now since, news of these comments have come out?
I was up on the Hill yesterday and then talked today. And yesterday, there was real hopefulness on the Democratic side. There was real communication between Graham and the Democratic leadership and a willingness by Democrats to put...
En una sola palabra, le voy a bajar al radio el volumen. Podrán pasarse años y años y años, décadas de discutir. Nunca van a poder ponerse con el burro a las patadas. ¿Sí entienden ese dicho? Nunca te podrás ganar si es que te pones con el burro a las patadas. La gente que se opone a las decisiones de nuestro presidente, porque ahora tenemos que entenderlo, es nuestro presidente, haya sido electo democráticamente o haya sido impuesto de una manera no lícita, o que haya sido ayudado por rusos o por extraterrestres o por la Madre Teresa, o que si el Papa le ayudó a estar en la silla, ni modo. Eso ya son harina de otro costal. El asunto es que ahorita ya el presidente ya está ahí y ya está ejerciendo como lo que es un presidente de Estados Unidos de Norteamérica. Y la gente tiene que entender, todos los países tenemos leyes y esas leyes se tienen que respetar. Si es necesario de que se construya una pared en la frontera norte con México, aunque se opongan miles y miles de inmigrantes, la pared se va a hacer. Eso no va a parar la inmigración, eso ténganlo por seguro. Lo único que va a suceder es de que toda la gente americana tenemos que pagar más impuestos para poder solventar los gastos de ese muro. No entiendo por qué el presidente quiere que México lo pague En realidad eso no es un tipo de negocio que supuestamente puede ser fructífero o puede ser realizado exitosamente. Pero en fin, a toda la gente inmigrante yo les voy a mandar un mensaje. ¿Por qué se oponen tanto? ¿Por qué tanto miedo a que pongan una pared? Lo importante no es tanto la pared. Lo importante es de que este país va a seguir necesitando de mano de obra barata y la gente va a estar siguiendo viniendo para acá de cualquier parte del mundo a trabajar para ganar dólares. Así que, ¿qué se preocupan? Si hacen un muro, hacen 2 muros, 20 muros, los que sean, eso no va a parar la inmigración. La gente siempre va a venir a prosperar a Estados Unidos porque el dólar vale más que cualquier moneda en el mundo entero, señores. So, no worries. Don't worry about it. If our president wants to build a wall, let's go ahead. Go ahead and build a wall. You know, nothing is gonna change. People have to come every single fucking day and get a job in United States and make some money. You know, life goes on. Have a great day, everybody. Y échenle ganas al trabajo, que la puta pared no va a parar nada. Nada va a cambiar.